Welcome to the Wizard of Cause, your go-to podcast for social impact, where we speak to innovative businesses, how they give, and of course, the charities that they love and inspire them. Now, whether you're an entrepreneur, a startup founder, or a business professional looking to stay ahead of the curve, the Wizard will show you how to build lasting social impact on the world. Are you ready to grow, give, and be inspired? Let's get started.
Hey, are you looking to scale your business from five figures to six figures or six figures to seven figures? If you are, I have the perfect thing for you. What I want you to do today is I want you to go download a book. This book is going to take you through my 3-pillar system. It's 100% free. All you have to do is go to growfast.cash. I say again, go to growfast.cash and you're going to be able to download my free international best-selling book, which is called Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone. You can take that book. It's going to help you scale your business to the next level. Again, go download it. Be good, be brief, be gone. Growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash. Enjoy.
Will, this is Laurie with the Honor Bell Foundation. I just want to let you know I love sharing the credit. I wish everybody else knew about it as well.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in again today. I want to introduce my best friend of the last 2.5 weeks, Laurie Kuntz with the Honor Bell Foundation. When I met Laurie, and we were just talking, right, and she's walking me through the foundation, and I'm getting my sea legs about me. I mean, I talk to about 50 charities a month, right? And I like to find out what they're doing. I like to find out what's going on. And I often say, right, doesn't matter how good the website is, it's two-dimensional compared to talking to a real human being. And then Laurie comes up and continually sucker punches me in the breadbasket and face and all of my emotions with the Honor Bell Foundation, because it has such an incredible and rich story behind it. I don't want to take away from that, because my words will pale from it. Laurie does this every day. So I'm going to let her tell this story. First and foremost, Laurie, tell everybody your name and who you're with and what the Honor Bell Foundation is all about.
Sure.
And thank you for being here with me today.
I was going to say, thank you for having me. Quit taking my thunder.
Okay.
So I'm Laurie with the Honor Bell Foundation. I'm the executive director. It's such a special organization in what we do. When we were founded by combat veterans, they had gone to a World War II veteran's funeral, and there was zero honors for this man. There was no volleys, there was no flag folding, there was no taps, nothing. Yes.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Go ahead.
So these guys, and this is a decorated World War II veteran. Okay. Nothing was there. So they decided this was not ever going to happen again. They did, got on their computers, they did some research and decided they wanted a funeral bell, but they wanted something a little bit different. So you see this big, beautiful bell behind me.
I do.
Yeah, so they didn't want to just, hey, we're gonna ring the bell. Yay. This bell was formulated to toll in the morning tone of A. It weighs over 1,000 pounds with
Golly.
with the clacker and the crown, right? And there's parts of it that are up to 3 inches thick.
Oh my word.
The bronze, solid bronze, except for there's just a little bit of other things that make it a really special bell and very, I guess, touched with what we do. So when they decided, remember, these are combat veterans, and then there was some veteran advocates. They all got together and they're saying, how can we make this different from any other funeral bell or the Navy bell or anything being rung out there. So besides being the size it is, it's 40 inches by 38 in diameter. So it's a big bell. they decided to reach out to the military community and say, we want to forever show the legacy of your family member by receiving military artifacts from 12 Colorado veterans that are cast within the bell. So it's not just
Oh.
yeah. So we call that I like watch your face while
Artifacts, artifacts. Right when you say that, it
artifact.
sounds
So
so mysterious.
there's a Purple Heart in there. There is the challenge coin from a Medal of Honor recipient.
Oh my
There
gosh.
is um the movie Taking Chance
Mhm,
with Kevin Bacon.
mhm.
We have his artifacts in there. Um, so there's some really great significance. They, like I said, reached out to their community. So, you know, they're veterans. They have a big community. State of Colorado has over 390,000 veterans in it. So,
Oh wow.
um, yeah, yeah, we got a real. I mean, we have 5 military bases in one city, so that kind of that's where the vast majority are. But so we call it Forged from Honor. And so when we do toll that bell back there, um, we toll it with dignity and honor. And it is only tolled for veterans, by veterans. We also do toll for fallen first responders. I want to put that out there too. They don't have to be a veteran, but if they've fallen in the light and duty, we will toll for them. But currently it is just veterans or veterans by veterans.
Golly.
And
So
she's big.
So, well, I know. I mean, it looks like you could commit a war crime with it, right? Drop it on a few people. It's a 1,000 pound bell. It's not like you
Thousand
can go up
pounds.
to Office Max or Pier One or something and say, you got a 1,000 pound, 3 inch thick, solid bronze cast bell. So I'm sorry. Where do you go to get a 1,000 pound bell
Hey,
forged? I mean, yes, it's on every street corner that you can.
I
There's a big
don't. And
foundry,
yeah, so they did a lot of research and they can only find one in the United States at the time
mhm,
that casts that size of bell, and they're up in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's the Verdun Company.
right?
So they have become really great partners of ours. Even even when we just really in June we got rear-ended, so that van got rear-ended. Um, and so the most interesting thing I've done so far was he goes, "Let's do a Zoom call and you can show me the bell." So I'm like, my arm is up inside there trying to show him, making sure there's no cracks in the bell and
Right.
sending him videos of the tolling to make sure that the tone was still on.
Now,
So
now you said this, and to be clear, for the kids in the back, right? The morning tone, not mourning like in the AM, the mourning like
no,
grieving a fallen soldier,
grieving.
grieving a lost family member,
Mhm.
right? To mourn somebody. And that is
Right,
the tone of A, right? It's
correct,
that
correct.
long,
So we toll it,
solemn.
yeah, it's a long solemn toll. So we toll the bell at the end of a veteran's funeral,
Mm,
primarily at Fort Logan National Cemetery. So you'll see that in the background as well.
mhm.
Um, we also go to the Pikes Peak National Cemetery 2 days a month. It is Colorado based right now, the only one in the nation. So when we toll this bell, we do it with special deep meaning behind it. So we toll 7 times, 7 seconds apart. So seven is the cycle of completion. So there's 7 days in a week. The world was created in 7 days. Um, but one of the things, if you can see the bell behind me or it's on my shirt, we have a constellation of stars.
Mm.
And it's kind of hard in that picture, but you could tell there's one that's a different color. That's the raised star on the bell. But so the first star is the first one below it, and that's the day that those men and women put their hand up and they say, "I'm taking this oath. I'm going to serve my country. I'm writing a blank check."
Right.
It starts that day, and then the next star is camaraderie. And we have patriotism, and three values important to a veteran, which are dignity, honor, and respect. And then we come to that final raised star, and that's the end of a veteran's life. So their value of life, and that's where the bell comes in. So we told it 7 times, 7 seconds apart, with solemn, dignity and honor. for the cycle of a veteran's life.
I love that this isn't a random thing. It's not something that's thrown together. There's such purpose, right, and
Right.
premeditation put into all of this. And I never really apologize on silly little things. Most of the time, so they train us, we're supposed to look right here, right?
I know. Well, I'm trying to.
But
Yeah.
I'm sitting there the whole time because whenever you start talking about this, I'm looking at the stars, I'm looking at the bell, and that comes across as if you're bent over, your system. Um, but it's such a phenomenal history. But so let me ask you a question. There are other, I mean, funeral bells are not a new thing, right?
No.
Um, but this bell, I mean, it's really thought out, but you went into it with a huge intention to set this apart from other funeral
Hmm.
bells, right?
Right.
Unpack that for me a little bit. I mean, because that's the
Yeah.
story. It's the artifacts. It's the everything. But it's
Well, it is. So, the founders decided they didn't want a veteran to go left behind. So we even told at the Unclaimed Veterans Services.
Mhm.
So we make sure that we are there. And I think you see the gentleman saluting behind me.
I do.
So once we told that bell, they turn to the family and they give that soldier, that veteran, a final salute.
Hmm.
And then we like to say, we're forged from honor. The military artifacts are in the bell. Those 12 Colorado veterans are taking their comrade home with them.
Oh, that's so. Sorry. That's emotional. Oh my
It
gosh.
is I get emotional when I say it too. So
Right. It's like the
yeah,
it's like the 12 unseen pallbearers for each time, every time. Right.
right.
That's amazing. That's a so. Who really sat down and conceived such a thing and said, "Here's what we want to do. Here's how we want to make this particularly memorable." Um, and I gotta say, because there's a certain amount of unabashed boldness to be able to say, "Please sacrifice something from your family museum and take
It
it and
is.
have
Yeah.
it smelted down into another 1,000 pounds of bronze, right?" And yet it's a huge piece. It's a huge honor to be able to sit there and say, Absolutely, right?" To be able to go.
Right. So they know that their family's legacy lives on now.
Hmm.
So I think that helps to unpack that. Lou Oliveira was the founder, and then he brought other founders in. So Alan Buckman,
Mhm.
actually I just met him over the phone. It was really a cool conversation. His father's sharpshooter medal is in the belt. So it's kind of cool to listen to him talk about his wife.
Mhm.
Um, he's like, no, I felt it was important, and I wanted to make sure that my dad's legacy lived on. And so
That's
it is,
awesome.
it's bringing them full circle, making, we have George Saccato's um, challenge coin in there, or I think they call it a challenge coin. He's a Medal of Honor recipient.
Mhm.
He was a private. So everything from World War I to the war in Afghanistan, from a private to an enlisted. So it's not, we're just going to take the cream of the crop,
Right.
which all veterans are. So don't let me keep that. But it doesn't have to be, we have major generals and there's privates in there. There's, um, you know, Lance Corporal, I think, in there.
Mhm.
So it's a variety. And we wanted to make sure that it was just something different. One lady talked about giving her husband's belt buckle and his dog tag to be in the bell. She just thought it was important. I think he's a coastie, so I think those are rare. So it was kind of cool that she just felt it was important that not only he lives on his legacy, but the Coast Guard was represented in there as well.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So now the bell was unharmed when you got rear-ended in the van. It didn't like the Liberty Bell. It didn't have the crack.
It didn't crack,
Okay.
no. So yeah, this June we got rear-ended. It was actually a three-car rear ending.
Oh my
So
gosh.
our board member was following the van because we just picked it up from the shop
Right.
for another dent, right? We picked it up from the shop. They're 2 blocks away, and some guy smashed into him and smashed him into the van. And so no, and the slide that you could see where's my finger? What the bell's on right there
Yeah.
is heavy duty steel. So that held in place. It got bent a little bit, like shifted, but the whole undercarriage of the van got crushed. So took the
But
insurance a long time.
the sled that it's on, the bell is freestanding in that, right? It's hanging.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So they pull it out and push it back in every service.
So what probably happened is the driver of the van that day heard its own gong when it hit it, and the clapper
Right?
right probably like, I
Yes.
hope he didn't lose anybody in this car crash, because it sounds like we just rang one off. And so now, when you and I first let's talk about the future a little bit, right? And
Okay.
because of so much of what Honor Bell does is remembering with a hugely respectful and reverent idea is of the past, right? This is what's been done, this is what's been given, and let's send you off. Let's remember that, right? Let's be very um, sober about it, and clear-headed. Um, sober in German means clean. We say
Hmm.
clean and sober. That's their word for clean. But to be very respectful, very reverent of the past, right? Um, but what's the future hold for Honor Bell? Because you and I have talked about these cemeteries, and it's not just any old cemetery, right? It's these are very specific cemeteries, and I'm like, well, how many of those can there be? Is there 50, right? Is there one, is there one per state? Uh,
Yeah, so the future of the bell, right now we are in a capital campaign to create the second bell in the nation. And that will be for the Pikes Peak region. So Pikes Peak National Cemetery, the Air Force Academy, Los Alamos National Cemetery down there, Fort Lyon, I think it's called. So we can, cover more area. The founder's goal was that there would be one at every national cemetery. So you're talking, there's 156 national cemeteries. There's also state cemeteries that are veteran. So you see the white headstones back there. This is at Fort Logan actually.
in
So
addition to the 156.
yeah, there'll be other ones in the
Oh
long
my
term.
gosh.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. What's a bell? What's a bell? The sled. What's it cost if somebody says, I want a bell, and my you know
So the bell itself and the sled are about $65,000. And then you got to get the van, and then you've got expenses, and then the model that we have set up for future affiliates or whatever we're going to call them at that point is they have to raise their first year's capital as well. So we don't want them going in, trying to hustle to raise money as they're going. We want to make sure that they've got the money in the bank to sustain their first year or so while they're raising money for the next year. So in total, actually, I should say for Colorado Springs, it's about $400,000.
wow, 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 wow,
Yeah.
wow. But and can this company if you had an order for 156,000 pound um 1,000 pound 3-inch thick bronze bells, can they knock those out? What's the turnaround time for a bell like that?
It takes them about 6 months to make one.
That's incredible. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah. So once we get to a point, so we've got benchmarks within the fundraising for the bells, right?
Hmm.
So once we hit a certain dollar amount, which I believe it's about half point, so $200,000,
Hmm.
then we can order the bell because then we've got enough to pay for it in case something happens, and we
Right.
still, pay for because we have to give half down. And then we'll have the money to continue that.
And then there's a whole other can there's a side campaign, because if you for each one of these bells that you want to make, you want the 12 servicemen or women, to
Hmm.
um, that can put an artifact in. Is 12 the number that you would shoot for each bell? Is that a special piece, or is that just done for the first bell?
I don't think that has significant meaning. I think we want to kind of stay with a standard protocol.
We
You
want at
can't
least
put more
7.
than you,
we
yeah,
we
exactly.
probably
You
want the
can't put
7.
more than you can't put more than 12 inside the bell itself because of the weight.
Right.
So it would shift off the weight. So it has to be at that 1,000 pound in order for the sound and everything else. But there could be an opportunity we put some in that crown or we put it in the clacker itself.
Gotcha.
It's been a discussion. We haven't kind of made that decision yet. Um, but the thing is once we order the bell, then we'll do a call for artifacts. And for example, we're going to Colorado Springs, right? There's 150,000 veterans and active duty military just in Colorado Springs.
Oh, wow.
So I'm sure people will come out of the woodwork and want to do that. So we have to have a very stringent selection process. So we're not just going to I don't want people to come and drop off medals at my house and saying, "Yay." No. And plus we want them to be somehow they had to be in that area. Either they're a native, which, Colorado natives like me are few and far between. Maybe they were stationed there or they retired there. So they have to be a part of that community in order to become part of the bell.
Looking to grow your business beyond 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures plus, what I want you to do is go download this book. The title is called Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone. It will help you grow your business past 5, 6, and 7 figure. Go download the book today, growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash, and download the book for absolutely free.
As I am not Coloradan by nature. I live here in Savannah, Georgia, and every time I come out to Colorado, I'm gasping for air and water, right?
And water.
Because we breathe our water in Savannah and we chew our air, right? And
Right.
Colorado, when I'm up in Denver, it has neither of those things. So by the second day I'm there, I'm getting a little raspy. Um, but I can imagine uh, being there. If you were here, then in Georgia or South Georgia, North Georgia, you would want to say, artifacts from this area, from this region, from
Hmm.
people that have served. Um,
Correct.
that's incredible. Of course, I think maybe once they make a first couple of weeding out process, you don't want to put in somebody's ROTC badge, right?
No, 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 no. They have to be veterans. So
Right, but once they're in there, I mean, I would almost think a lottery process, and you make it a big thing, and once a week for 7 or 12 weeks, as you're doing it, and you draw the name, and this is, the new family, the new piece, they get to walk,
that's
their
actually a really
fellow
good idea.
servicemen. Yeah, I mean, it's because it's such a good story, right? And like I said, it's done with such purpose and thought. And the worst thing, and this is often how a lot of charities get started, is there's a problem, right?
Right,
How many
right.
times do we, and like, how many times, do you say somebody's going to have to die at this intersection for them to put a light up, right? Um, somebody's got to die here. Unfortunately, to have a World War II or two World War II servicemen that were buried, were interned, and to have no honors, no volleys, no recognition, that's a that's a dark day. I'm glad somebody rose rose to that occasion. Um, so I got to ask you a question. Um, Lori, what brought you to Honor Bell? I mean, this is a that's a It's not like they're going down the street ringing the bell and
Right.
you jumped on that bandwagon and said,
You're like, oh yeah, no.
"Oh yeah, this."
So I have been a volunteer with veteran service organizations for about 29 years now.
Mhm.
It's American Legion Auxiliary primarily. And we heard about it once. We're like, okay, that's cool. What is it? And then the I was the state president in 2018. So then the next last year, the incoming president said, hey, I really want to do this. Can you find out more information? Um, so I was like, sure. So then I ended up volunteering for the foundation and, going to events and because that's what I do all the time anyway. So going to events, what's one more, right? And then I was at an event last March, like 2023 in March, and they told that bell outside the door, and it just like went through me, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like, it's such an amazing sound. And then I don't know, it's like a month and a half or 2 months later, I was on the board. Then I became the board treasurer, and then our former executive director resigned, and so I took on that role. Here I am.
So,
And I love it. It's just touches my heart every time. The It was back in September. I was at an event. I had to speak and introduce the bell, and they give you like 3 to 5 minutes, and that's it.
right.
Short and sweet. Loved it. I did find though when I was speaking, we were outside. Everybody was silent. Not when other guest speakers were, but everybody just got silent and listened to the story. Um, and then, we told the bell at that time, but we will not toll the bell unless we have someone to honor. So it's not just we do a lot of events, community outreach. I don't just go up to the bell and toll it, and well, I don't anyway because I'm not a veteran, but um, we won't do that unless we have someone to toll for. So about 45 minutes into an interview with the news, for a 3 minute segment, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Um, she's like, well, can you toll for me? And we're like, and Larry down there, he looks at me and he's like, well, do you have someone to toll for? And she's like, well, I don't know. And then I just kind of lost it. That was the anniversary of my dad's death. And so
Mm.
we told the bell that day in honor of my father. And let me tell you, when we do events and I'm there, I can call out to the bell guard to, render honors. And so they're like, do you want me to do it? And I'm like, I'm gonna try. So I had to, muster through doing the call out and
For such an
you
emotional
stand,
moment, right?
yeah, oh my gosh. Then I see the news. I'm like, yep, I was crying. It's like I'm standing next to the bell, and every time it tolls, it just vibrates through your whole body.
I bet it does.
Typically, I don't stand next to it. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, and then the news, I've just got tears just rolling.
So, I wouldn't want to do my own, right? I'd be too close to it. I mean, that's the whole point. The pastor of my church made a joke years ago that a visiting speaker, right, a pastor in his own right, came to speak, and his granddaughter attended our church, and he would do the baptism that day. And the guy started getting a little choked up as he did it, right, as you can imagine. Um, uh, he, his his granddaughter was having a child, and he was christening his own effectively great
It's
grandchild.
great grandchild.
And our pastor got back up. He's like, I wouldn't have done that, right? I'm not christening my grandchildren or my great grand. Right? That's too close to home. And he's like that's a much braver man than I am, and I can appreciate that. So and I appreciate the reverence of listen. We're not just clanging this around, to try to bring in a few extra bucks. So what is does a family ever come up to y'all or you specifically and say, you know, and volunteer anything about what the bell meant to them, or like they didn't know about the bell and this is the first time, and
So we only toll it by request. So a lot of the funeral homes are our partners and they help us to get those scheduled, right?
Mhm.
Fort Logan, there's not a lot of time to do that because they're doing a service at the top of the hour and one at the bottom of the hour. So they're just going back and forth. There's not always a lot of time to do that. I went to one like, the gathering afterwards. Not at It was my cousin, so I was there, and then they're like, "Hey, can you tell us all about this bell? What was that?" And ended up being at two other people's services after that that were distant. But Pikes Peak National Cemetery is, they don't do that many. And so the families usually do come and talk to our bell guard and learn more about the bell and talk about their loved one. So it's a little bit different. Just I guess depends on where we're at. If we're at an event, absolutely, people are always coming up and talking to us and wanting to know more. And we recently did a tolling for the fallen members, or they passed members of an American Legion post and a TRIA, so the Retired Enlistment Association. So we told for them, but then we talked about it, and it was cold outside. They just all stood outside and listened and had questions, and a couple of the things we do that are part of what we do is we have three different programs. So one of those programs is the Bell Honors, what we're talking about today. But another one is our Bell Guards. We the comrades, they come together. They're there and they're finding a lot of the times that tolling that bell has been a great medicine, I guess you could say, PTSD therapy. Um, because like Larry will tell you that um his is his is really personal. He was in Vietnam. He in the Air Force. He lost a lot of his comrades. And so when he tolls that bell, it's better therapy for him than when he was getting meds from the VA.
Oh
He
wow.
said it's helped him to get rid of some of his survivor's guilt because he's allowing them to be let go. And to this day, he's been tolling for 5 years. I think it was 2020. I think was his first one, 4 years, going on 5. But he'll talk about his story of Vietnam and how it helps him with PTSD. He'll still cry.
Yeah.
He still gets very emotional about it. But they also have the camaraderie. So you're bringing, and that's what a lot of veteran service organizations are about too, is you're bringing veterans together that can talk each other's language, that can compare stories. They can tell me all they want, but I can't relate to it as much because I'm not a veteran.
Right.
But you get those together. So that's, the two. And then the third one is we worked with a university here to develop a K through 12 curriculum. And it's all about, the military, why they're important, dignity, honor, and respect for them. And it's K through 12, pretty simple. It's on our website. Anybody can download it and use it. And it does meet state standards. They keep it updated for us. So
So where does the bell reside when it's not out doing its job?
in the
Um,
van.
where's the van? I mean, it's just
The
not
van. So our driver keeps it at his house and they drive it back and forth, and
right. Right. Well, I mean, I guess you can't run off with it, right? I mean, that's not your average.
you could try, but
It's not your average piece.
yeah.
All right. So that is okay. So I'm going to ask you a goofy question. Have you ever seen the movie Star Wars? Okay, good. So at the end, they're about to make a run on the Death Star, right? They're about to go shooting it. Um, if Lori is in her spaceship, she's in her X-wing fighter or whatever she's in. What song does she put in to get her
Oh,
amped up to make a run on the Death Star?
oh my gosh, that is a crazy. I have no idea. Um,
Yeah, but you're going to be thinking about that today, right?
I
Like I'm
will be
having lunch
thinking
and
about it, and I'm like going right now. It's Christmas music, so I don't know.
oh, come on, come on. You can't do Christmas music. You know, that's
Oh
peace on earth,
no,
goodwill to men. But this isn't on earth. This is out in space.
right?
And
This
there's an
is
evil satellite trying to blow up your planet. So, and I
what's
tell you,
yours?
um, Calling Dr. Love by Kiss
Oh,
from the late 70s, which was kind of a funny thing. And I've asked that a few times because it'll completely catch you off guard. And somebody's like, I've got to think about that now. What is my
there's an
Air Pump
answer.
song? I
I
had
know
a
I'm gonna
kid,
be like going, okay, radio, radio. What do I have to say?
this kid, I mean, I'm 55, and I told this kid, he's in his early to mid 30s, right? And he said "Final Countdown" by Europe, and I'm like, man, that's like 1987, right? That's like that's a little bit
That's
before your
classic for
time.
him.
But yeah, I'm like that's practically classic rock. And he goes, I loved it. I love that song. And I said that's a good pick. That's a good pick. Well, Lori, by hook or by crook, however you ended up at the Honor Bell Foundation, I'm glad you're there. I'm glad y'all are doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
This is exactly why I said you have to come on and jump on and do the podcast. And by the way, this doesn't mean anything to anybody else out there. Lori and I tried to do this like a week and a half ago, and whether storming or work or whatever it was going on, there was like no internet connection, and it was like it's like I was trying to contact somebody on the moon, and it wasn't yours. It was all on us. But I said we've got to do this because I just asked the basic questions to find out something about a nonprofit we might do some work with, and the honor bell only slaps you clean awake, right? You've never heard about it, and then you're somebody that goes to your own deathbed, never forgetting the idea of the honor bell. And what a wonderful idea. All started because there are a couple of World War II servicemen that went to their own, you know,
Close. They were Purple Heart. They went to a World War II veteran's funeral.
oh right, okay, there you go, right. um, but without any type of special recognition, right? No send off, no volleys, no special rights, and that's that's upsetting, right? That's something that's upsetting. And so somebody rose to the occasion, and they made this 1,000-pound bronze 3-inch bell that tones and the morning tone of A, right? Um, that they ring once every 7 seconds to honor this particular person, and it has in it 12 artifacts ranging from things like Purple Hearts to challenge coins, mission coins, right? from a
Hmm.
from a from a Medal of Honor recipient in it. And as the Honor Bell Foundation says, those are the 12 servicemen, right, escorting their comrade home, which is a
Yep.
wonderful story. It's very it's emotional for me. Um, I want to see one of these in Savannah because we're surrounded by bases in Savannah, right? I want to start this conversation with people here in Savannah, because of our own people and our own remembrance. Now, I'm going to give a quick little plug. Now, all of Lori and the Honor Bell's information is going to be down below,
Okay.
and you can support the Honor Bell Foundation as a regular person. If you have a business and you have a heart for our military men and women and even our first responders, and you don't want them going home without some type of fanfare, right? Some type of proper send off. Uh,
Right.
you can support the Bell Foundation. You can automate the philanthropy from your business into the Honor Bell Foundation. And we're going to have a link that only works for the Honor Bell Foundation below. You can click that, and one of our people will tell you how that works. It's a wonderful thing. The cool thing there, as Lori already knows, when a business comes on with us, they never leave. We're recording this in 2024, actually, the first couple of days in December. The coolest thing I get to say is the first business we brought on came on board 13 years ago in November. Uh, so
Very cool.
lesson, and they're
Congratulations.
still, oh, thank you. And they're still giving to their charity this day, right? Because when the business comes on board, um, they find out they save money, but they're giving to this thing that really speaks to their heart, right? Like the Honor Bell Foundation. And they're like, as long as we're in business, we're never going to leave. We're going to stay here forever. And I love that because it allows people like Lori to spend less time running out and raising money and more time doing actual Honor Bell work. Um, Lori, thank you so much for being with us here again
Yeah, thank
today
you.
for the second time or so that we tried to do this. But we were going to get the Honor Bell in either way. What else would you like to add for us?
Well, so you talked about the business side. If an individual wants to sponsor, if they sponsor $17 a month,
Mhm.
that covers one service. So they can sponsor a service every month.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and it's not a lot. It's a couple Starbucks, right?
Maybe one and a half Starbucks nowadays,
Maybe one
right?
and a half now. Yeah. Even $5 a month helps. So we do have that. But it's like you were talking about, maybe possibly being in Savannah. It's a great way to start that conversation. And I'm more than happy to do that. Kind of some of the things we need for other states. Colorado, we're working on our second one, but we're here. So it would be look a little bit differently when we go to another state. Again, it's the only bell in the nation right now. It's right there. The honor bell. Bell number one. It's got a serial number inside of it. It is bell number one. The artifacts are amazing. That's what touches you is knowing. I mean, people love the fact that they can hear the bell and they see that.
Mhm.
Most of them don't know about the artifacts. I had a potential board member reach out. She's heard the bell several times, and I'm like, "Hey, did you know there's military artifacts in there?" She's like, "What? No." So it just kind of made it a little bit more special to her. So
It's an awesome piece. Now, how much does somebody need to give on an ongoing basis to get the awesome shirt that you're wearing that has the seven
the honor
stars and the
bell,
one
well,
gold star?
we have not created that program yet, so we'll
We
have
got
to
to
come
start
up with
that
that.
up because
We
I'm sitting
got
there
to,
looking
yeah.
at it and it's so cool. It's so
So we
cool.
do typically the polos are for our board members and staff, but we just decided that, and I had our members down in Colorado Springs since we're, working on the second bell down there. They're
Mhm.
like, well, we want polos. And I'm like, great. So instead of saying Honor Bell Foundation, which mine is, it says Honor Bell at Pikes Peak.
Ah,
So now it's for their area. They're so excited. They love wearing them. Hey, and it's easier advertisement. They prepaid them. But if we want to do a give campaign like that, we can certainly create the template.
and if you have a business and you sharing the credit to give, then on the
Hmm.
business on your front door or on the checkout of your website, you get to the modified Visa Mastercard door sticker where it says Visa Mastercard. Your business here supports, and it's the Honor Bell Foundation, and it's their logo in color.
Fantastic.
Lori, I want you to think about what your song is going to be to make an attack on the Death Star. 10 o'clock
I
tonight,
don't
you're
know.
going
I
to go,
just
why
keep
didn't I?
This is really
Barracuda, my
weird,
heart.
but I keep thinking of Marty Robbins, like it's some kind of like I don't know why, but
Only Lori
maybe
can
it's
determine
channeling
that.
my dad, I guess. I don't know.
It might be. Thank you so much for coming with us today, and I will see you soon.
Yes, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hey, we all want to scale our business. Hey, I have the answer for you today to help you do that. If you're looking to scale from 5, 6, even 7 figures and beyond, book called Be Good, Be Brief, Be Gone. I'm going to give it to you for free. All you have to do is type in growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash, and you can download the book for absolutely free. I hope the book helps you this year. Take your business to the next level. Again, go grab the book, growfast.cash. I say again, growfast.cash. I wish you the best and grow, scale, and win.
That wraps up today's episode of The Wizard of Calls. We hope you've enjoyed the insights and ideas shared in today's conversation. Now, if you found value in this episode, don't forget to subscribe and tell us how we're doing. Your feedback helps us bring you more content that matters. And of course, stay connected with us for updates, tips, and more. Until next time, keep giving, take care, and keep making an impact.
There it is. Magnum. Holy moly.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for!
Dear God, it's beautiful.